Hi everyone. I've just made breakfast. I've pricked my finger about half an hour ago and it's 91 uh, on the old blood sugar meter. And I made breakfast, and breakfast consists of ground beef, uh, this tomato salsa that they sell in cans. And you can find this in the where you find regular tomatoes, canned tomatoes, and tomato sauce and tomato paste. It's usually fire roasted. Usually get the fire roasted salsa cans. So we got ground beef, 1 can of tomato salsa, one small can of tomato sauce, and 1 can of tomato paste. And that's mixed into about pound and a half of ground beef, and cooked up. The ground beef is cooked up first with the tomato sauce and tomato salsa, broken up and stirred at high temp until it's all brown. And then the tomato paste is added in. And then I add in a teaspoon, what I call a teaspoon, so about half a tablespoon, using a bouillon spoon. I just use a bouillon spoon, easy and simple, of a salt mixture, which is half no salt and half Morton Salt Light, which is Morton Salt Light is 50% salt, and which is sodium chloride and half potassium chloride. No salt is just potassium chloride. So you get 75% when I do it this way, when I mix the two together in that bouillon half tablespoon. It's about 75% potassium chloride and 25% sodium chloride. Your body uses a lot of potassium. It doesn't need that much salt. You have problems with your kidneys if you have too much salt. I've had problems with salt for a long time. I loved hamburgers. Hamburgers was like the greatest thing, to every American. It's a cheeseburger. Try going overseas and being overseas for a while. When you come back, you want to have a cheeseburger right away. So I've always had this love affair with cheeseburgers. Everyone does. Um, Sodium will get you in will have the way sodium reacts with the kidneys. You'll have hypertension. You just have to cut down on the salt, and that's my way of cutting down on the salt. You have to have the sodium for your brain to function properly. If you don't have enough sodium, you could have seizures. Your nerves need to have that sodium in your system, in your blood system, to work right. Your nerves will not work right without the sodium. So, the other thing I put in, because I don't ever think that 1/4 of a tablespoon is going to be enough for a pound and a half of ground beef, I put in the pickle. It's okay, excuse me, but I have memory problems now, big time. Relish. I just use plain dill relish. I put in 2 of the bowling spoons of dill relish. That's just slightly over a tablespoon. And I mix that into the mix. And this is after everything's all cooked. I have an electric stove now. I don't have a gas stove. So what I'll do is I'll cook up the meat until it comes to like a boil. And then I'll set it aside. I'll put in the tomato paste, the salt, and the pickle relish. I don't know why I had a problem remembering pickle relish this morning. It's gotten to a point where it's very difficult having the mind function as well as it should. So this is all a problem with diabetes and sugar, glycogen. And I've watched a lot of videos, and I'll just talk a minute or so about the different doctors that you'll find on YouTube that you can watch, and the different things that you can watch. I like Khan Academy. If you're going to learn anything, learn how the cell works. Learn about how the body metabolizes the sugars and how you need mitochondria to function properly. Without mitochondria, you have no energy. And I got plenty of people telling me about energy drinks, and they call them energy drinks. All they are stimulants. They stimulate the wrong things, like adrenal glands. And, caffeine that makes you not want to sleep, that makes you think I've got a lot of energy, ATP. So I've watched a lot of videos. I use Khan Academy. There's AP for science students. There's like Bozeman Science that talks about biology. And these are very good YouTubes to start with. I've watched entire lectures. There's lectures from UCSF that you'll find on the internet for biology and how the cells work. Your cells have to work properly. The problem with diabetes, your cells are malfunctioning. Your cells take the insulin and say, I'm resistant because I don't need more sugar. So you got to understand the main problem with diabetes is too much carbs, sugar carbs. And I'll say this many times going on, there's good carbs and there's bad carbs. When you're looking at carbohydrate, if it's got too much glucose, the sugar, the carbohydrate sugar that your body readily absorbs, like from alcohol, not a good carb. It has no nutritional value. But when you take things like kale and spinach, things like parsley, they're green and they have chlorophyll. Their chlorophyll is a whole cell. Your body breaks down that chlorophyll different than it does just the refined sugar. You've got very important vitamins and minerals that you can get from vegetables. Green leafy salads are probably one of the best foods on earth. You need them. All right? But I start off, like today, I'm starting off with the ground beef. The reason I start off with the ground beef is a simple one. It's protein. It's not going to boost my blood sugar. It's going to continue to have my pancreas create insulin. My cells will not shut down because I'm eating ground beef. It's the sugars from refined carbohydrates and other things. If I see added sugar, it's a problem. Okay? When we talk about ketos and ketogenic diets, we're talking about carbs. And I like Dr. Berg, but Dr. when you're eating protein, you're still producing insulin. Insulin doesn't stop when you eat just protein. Okay? I'll agree with oil, but when you're eating cheese, you get the bad oil along with the good oil. Most important thing to have in your body is high density lipoprotein, stuff from like olive oil. Olive oil is good for you. Even talk about hemp oil. Hemp oil is pretty good. It makes you feel wonderful. Okay. There's certain oils that are essential for the body. If you don't take in the oils, your cells will break down. You'll have a problem with the cells. They'll break down. The cell wall has cholesterol in it. These things you learn. If you're on diabetes and you don't care, just take the medication. You'll never get off of it. I've been off of it 3 times now. First time I was diagnosed was late 90s. I was working here in Silicon Valley at Sun Microsystems. And I remember this because I have a little niece that was born in 2000, and I was pricking my finger, and she wanted to prick her finger. She asked me. She was like 2 years old, and I wouldn't let her prick her finger. I made sure she understood it's not for her, it's only for me. So I remember that, and that was the first time I had been diagnosed, and that was the first time I was on metformin. Well, I got off of the metformin. I started driving a truck. You have to take a DOT test, and they test for the blood sugar. And I was able to keep it down with diet. But I didn't understand it first time I was diagnosed. When I was a child, you had Sunday morning, you had cartoons filled with, commercials with sugar upon sugar, chocolate, Count Chocolate. You had, the Fruit Loops, all these things that had tons of sugar in them. So anyway, I'm going to tell you, you look at Eric Berg, he's a ketogenic diet. You need to go into ketosis. That's why the protein. So I use 75%. I just buy the 3-pound thing. It's got 75% protein and the rest is fat, 25% fat. I don't care. It's only 25% of my diet has that bad animal protein. I need to lose the damn sugar in my system because I'm diabetic. And when you talk about 11.1, the doctors want to put you on insulin. Okay? I don't want to be on insulin because that means I have to stop doing my job, which is driving. I could go into shock because that's a state that can no longer be controlled. You drop down below 80 on the blood sugar, and you could have a problem with a coma. Okay? I don't want that. You want to keep active. You want to be active. Believe me, you want to be able to walk and do what you need to do during the day. And this whole thing now, I've gotten to a point where because I got inactive, I am no longer able to maintain it as well. It takes exercise, and I can't walk 5 miles a day like I was in Las Vegas with the security job. So Dr. Berg, I pay attention a lot. There's I can't even pronounce his name now. Mercola. Dr. Mercola that's on the internet. There's a bunch of doctors. Furman, I like Furman. Some of these guys, there's a doctor that talks about carbs. Like, okay, I understand the Filipinos and all the Asian groups, they eat rice and they're okay. I look at Okinawans, they don't eat rice. But they live to be over 100 for the majority because they eat simple, important things that help them maintain longevity. Like they eat turmeric. they eat a special way because they live up in the mountain in Okinawa. They walk up and down the hills to get to and from. They have active lives. Now, I don't want to be saddled down. I don't want the insulin because it makes me lethargic enough that I don't have the activity I want. That's not life. You're just waiting to die after that. Okay, so I'm 60 years old. I got an uncle that had a birthday yesterday, 91 years old. My dad lived to be 85, but he died of cancer. He smoked. He was in the Navy Yard where he inhaled asbestos. Me? I should live to be as long or longer. Why not? Okay, environment and I don't like the drugs, okay? The drugs are not natural. I'm all for natural things. So I listen a lot to Dr. Berg, but he's wrong about the insulin. When you eat protein, you still have insulin. Your pancreas is still producing insulin. It's just that you're no longer taking in the sugar to be absorbed by the cells, okay? And A1C, it takes a while for that A1C to get out. Your cells have to reproduce and create more blood cells. They test the hemoglobin, and the hemoglobin takes a while to be replenished. Your cells die off, urinate, it's gone, the sugar goes away, and you become less diabetic. So when I go from within a month, I went from 400 on my blood sugar, 400. I pricked my finger and it was 400. And I go down and it's 90 within a month, and it continually stays that way, and I've lost 10 pounds. I understand this. I really do. So I've talked for 17 minutes. That's it. I'm not talking anymore. Tomorrow, I'm going to, a couple more days down the road, I'll let you know again. 91, and it was 91 yesterday. And it's going to continue. Oh, I think it was 100 yesterday. It's going to continue to be within the normal range because I've done this before. Doctor said lose 30 more pounds, and I've already lost 10. That's 40 pounds total. No problem. 2 pounds a week is healthy. Initially, you'll drop a lot. And I dropped 10 pounds within a month. But then it plateaus. It levels off. So 2 pounds a week. That's the best. 2 to 3 pounds a week. You're going to make it. So you can figure it out. How long is it going to take to lose 30 more pounds? It's simple. Like 10 weeks. Simple in my brain. 3 pounds a week, 10 weeks. That's it. And I should be done. That's 2.5 months. No problem. And then they're going to take me off the metformin. We'll see. We'll see if I can maintain. The main thing is to keep carbohydrates to the lowest point you can. So today, when I mixed in the tomato sauce and everything, you look on the can, there's nutritional values on the can. 10 grams. 10 grams of sugar for 1.5 pounds, and I only eat 1/4 pound of that mix. That's all. I put in a bowl, 1/4 of it in the morning. Okay, and I don't eat it every day. I have whey protein shakes, and that's only 150 calories for I can't tell you off the top of my head how many calories are in that protein mix, that ground beef mix. But whey proteins, they say right on the thing, and I use the muscle milk that I get from Costco, 150 grams or 150 calories. There's 27 grams or so. I may be misquoting the nutritional value, but protein shakes tomorrow. And there's other things I'll talk about. I won't have this every day, but it's going to go in the refrigerator, and I'll warm it in the microwave, and that'll be another day, okay? 1/4 of it. So 3 pounds is going to last me a month. I pretty much keep the, it's going to go bad in the refrigerator, but cook it up and keep it in the refrigerator. It's going to last me it's going to last me at least 2 weeks. All right. So that's all for today. 20 minutes. Wow.